Alright, okay, hello everyone. It is Super 17. It is basically 2 something in the morning for me right now. I basically was reading the first book of the Percy Jackson series, like I said. So, I do not own the pictures, and this is not a paid video, and I do not own this series of Percy Jackson and any of the books. Um, Basically, the one who owns it though is Rick Ride. Okay, so I'm gonna basically just spell the name Riordan. Riordan. Blah. I don't know how to pronounce it right. Basically, though, I just don't own the series. Sorry, I just don't own the book series or the movies or anything to do with it. Alright, so why am I making this? I mean, I kind of saw some videos of of basically the Naruto x Percy Jackson crossover. So I thought, since this is happening, since this has happened, or just in general, it's basically was between different stories. Between like one time Naruto's father was Apollo. Another thing where Artemis was his mother, Hera was his mother, another one with Artemis, Festus. So it's just like I'm making my own story, sort of thing. I'm not, copying any one of them. It's just Naruto is, as it says, a son of chaos. And I have looked that up. It does say in Greek lore that chaos is nothingness and basically, or emptiness? It's nothingness slash emptiness, I believe. Okay, now I'm down myself. But basically, though, I'm just trying to point is, though I did look it up, it said chaos was a she. I'm going to say chaos. Actually, you know what? Just so I can make sure, I'm going to look this up now. Okay, I just went to look. I saw it basically said one or the other, male or female. And like I said, I'm just going to say chaos. So, it could take any form. So I may say he, I may say she. But anyways. I just looked in general, just saying, chaos, Greek lore and such, and basically, I didn't look in, like, Percy Jackson series. I don't think they said it. They did let me know. If they didn't, okay, well, just he or she. It could be either one. But anyways, though, so it makes sense. Either one, still the son. So, how's this gonna work? Well, I don't think it's gonna happen. But just basically know this. This Naruto, this is gonna be probably my most strongest Naruto ever. You'll see why. And by the way, he's in a world of gods. So, technically, I have to make him really OP. Because, he has to be on the same level as them. Maybe above them a little. Okay, enough of me joking around. I'll turn this fan down lower. There we go. So now, let us start. This is what if Naruto became a son of chaos. Part 1. And hopefully you guys will like this. So, where we start off is very simple. We're starting off in Shippuden in the first or second episode. Basically, it's around the time when Naruto gets back to Konoha. And he's with Sakura about the fight Kakashi for the 2 bells. A reminder of the time where they were with Sasuke. And, it's the bell test all over again. But in this case, while Naruto and Sakura are getting ready to fight Kakashi, somewhere in the vast void of nothingness and emptiness, a being is just looking through the world that it's watching over, and it is bored out of its mind. So, it is just yawning until something starts to happen. It's starting to get an itch in its nose, and then it sneezes, causing a rift. A rift through space-time. And whatever else you can think of that basically will make a rift happen appear as this being goes like, uh-oh. I did that, didn't I? Well, I've been bored, so let's see what this, where this goes. Hopefully it'll be something interesting. Now, what happens is, Naruto is about, to do what he does in canon. Throw something near Akakashi, and then, poof, it turns into smoke. But the only difference is, before he even does that, all of a sudden, a portal opens up behind Naruto, as he goes like, wait, what the? Because he's seen little rocks that are going flying past him into this portal, as Naruto's like, Kashi, Sakura! Kakashi Sensei, Sakura, help me! Basically, because he's starting to realize, he's trying to put chakra on his feet, but he can't. They don't even see what's happening to him as he gets sucked through the portal. Now, while this is happening, inside his mindscape, Kurama pulls him in. Yes, technically in this one, Naruto and Kurama are sort of close. Not really. It's just in a life-death situation. As Naruto's like, wait, what's going on? As then all of a sudden, he realizes he's not in front of the cage, he's behind the cage. As he's thinking, oh crap. As all of a sudden a tail, wrap around him and pulls him close. And he goes like, Kyuubi! He's like, shut up, brat. I'm trying to save us. As he's basically, the Kurama starts to wrap himself around Naruto. And red chakra is making a spear around them both. Because, for some weird reason, this weird energy is flown into Naruto as it's seeping into the seal and going towards Kurama and Naruto. Kurama is using this chakra to try to get rid of whatever this is, but it seeps through his chakra as Kurama goes like, oh crap, Naruto, whatever happens, just try to live, as it starts to seep into Kurama, as because this seeps into Kurama, this also seeps into Naruto, as they start screaming out in pain and agony. Meanwhile, Naruto, in basically, Naruto's universe, is on the ground, knocked out, as Sakura and Kakashi are like, basically Sakura are like, Naruto! And so he's like, what happened? Why does my head hurt? As she goes like, what do you mean? He's like, I don't know what happened to me. I just suddenly, as everything's fuzzy, he can't remember what happened. He's like, I don't remember. I just know something was happening and I called out for you guys. And then Kakashi is saying, maybe you're sick. You never know, you've been gone for a while, so maybe you're just not used to being here again. Which Naruto's like, that's not it. Which then Sakura says, are you okay? You think you can go with this test? He's like, yeah, I think I can still go. Come on. As he gets up. Now, meanwhile, well, you see, there are two different Narutos, as I said. One Naruto is going through the portal, going into the Percy Jackson universe, while the other lives out the life that it's supposed to. Now, this being who is watching this is interested. So basically the being's like this. I wonder, what is this human? What has he been through? What is this world like? And what is this thing called chakra? I'm very interested. Let's see. As it views what happens in the Naruto universe, all the way up to Naruto's life. And it is very disgusted with the humans, how they treat this hero. But he has basically this being has also seen some people actually accepted him and was proud of these humans, acknowledging the boy's sacrifice. And so, because it's seen Naruto's life, he basically, when he basically sees Naruto against, whatever part of him that was being sucked for the portal, and the other part, and like another part of him is there, he just starts laughing. Well, he, or basically just the beings, just starts laughing. He's like, well, that is interesting. It seems like the unpredictable ninja is going to be coming over to into the realm of the gods. My realm. Well, I mean, I am chaos, so I do love to cause maybe some mischief and chaos once in a while. But him, I mean, his name suits him, besides fish cake, maelstrom. Wild, crazy, and unpredictable. Pure chaos. I wonder what's happening to the other him, as basically chaos is looking through the portal, well, basically using a viewing glass sort of way to see what happened to the other Naruto, as it's seeing the energy that basically not he, but technically he sneezed, but he said she sneezed, as it's just seeping into Naruto, as it goes, well, that's unpredictable. How can a human handle that? Well, it looks like I have a child now. As the realization hit, wait, I have a child. All of a sudden, a seat manifested and it just sits down. As it's like, I have a child. I have a child. Wait, I have to choose which gender. I'll figure that out later. I'll just watch over the kid for now. It's kind of my fault, but, I wonder what's gonna happen to the other him then. So, Chaos watched the other Naruto because it's gonna take a while for the Naruto that's in the portal being thrown through space and time and dimension, basically. Is seeing Naruto's life. It sees basically Naruto going through all Shippuden. Everything that happened. All the way up into Boruto. And then until the Naruto dies. But, okay, so here's the thing. You think I'm gonna make like one Naruto not have that memories of his past life? No. It's Naruto. So the other him is there. It does his work for him. Then he gets all the memories, the experience, the knowledge, everything. So let's just say this because of my friend pointing this out to me. Before anyone says anything, my friend pointed this out to me. I was like, oh, crap. Yeah, that is true. Well, now then. Okay. So, yeah, basically, we're going with this. So, while the soul of the other half of Naruto is held by the Shinigami is like, finally, you have been avoided death many times, Naruto Uzumaki. It is time for you to come with me. It's like, where are we going? He's like, where else do you wait, what? As basically the Shinigami's getting pulled along with because it's holding Naruto. It's like, no, I'm not letting go of you, Naruto Uzumaki. No, I'm the strongest Shinigami there is. Because I think there's more than one Shinigami, so there's like a whole lot, and this one's just the strongest. And Naruto was like, I don't know what's going on. What's happening? As I was like, the Shinigami was like, I don't. As a portal appears again. But the Shinigami other Naruto see another Naruto flying through the portal. It's like, they both just look at each other, look back at the portal, and the Shinigami goes like, how was that? And before he gets any more words out, they just get thrown through the portal. As, well, what happens next is, both Naruto's half come back together. Pretend it was like the yin and the yang. The body basically kept moving on, while the yang part basically was just you know, flowing through the portal, absorbing energy of chaos, becoming a fudging god. And it's alright, because a primordial. Naruto's already a demigod in the Naruto series. And basically he becomes a god of Shinobi, but still, he's a demigod. Now imagine him getting Chaos's power. Basically, Chaos has a lot of amount of power. Basically, it can be anything. So imagine that given to Naruto, he becomes a god. Now, because his other half come back together with him, he has all the knowledge that he has done. He has all the experience. He has basically sage mode. Summoning contracts, maybe still, but it may not be Toads. I mean, you have to, choose a different one. Because he technically did die, he was crossed out, but, maybe I'll have to find a different one. But anyways, he can still summon different animals then, later. And he has the Sage of Sixth Path Chakra, and now, because the Shimigami that was basically supposed to drag Naruto to where he belongs, to be judge, well, unfortunately for him, he sailed away with Kurama, asleep. But Naruto has a mark on his arm. This basically, it's like a tattoo on his arm of the Shimigami. And well, what happens is Naruto's body is slowly aging backwards, all the way up to when he's 12 years old. And well, a few more minutes later. Okay, by the way, Naruto, part of him that was in the portal, 70 years pass. Basically, everything that happened in Boruto's gone, so, yeah. Finally. Anyways, so we have Naruto just suddenly, basically just flying through the portal. A few minutes later, the portal opens up as Chaos just smiling, and it just saying to itself, yes, this is gonna be so much fun watching all of their panic and not understanding anything. This is gonna be entertaining. Yes. So, as well, when Naruto lands in a place only for demigods, basically Camp Half-Blood. I mean, it's kind of obvious. We have Naruto basically just landing there. Many campers are walking by until they saw this portal open, and then there's only a 12-year-old kid just gets spit out of it and just lands on the ground. Just like a thud. Making a little crater as everyone is shocked. Some people got their swords and shields out. Some people got spears and arrows. As next thing you know, a man with... By the way, I'm kind of going with the movie looks. I think movie 1, Chiron, works good because that's how it was and how I see that from the book, unfortunately. Well, certainly, I go with the story of the book, movie-wise looks for some characters. I just see from the movie of the Lightning Thief, Chiron, that works for me for some reason, and how I saw from reading how he looked. Alright. You guys can say, if that's, okay or not. I just don't know. But yeah, I just find that be a little more accurate. So, anyways, as basically everyone just sees a half-man, half-horse galloping over, and when he arrives, he just sees a boy in a black and orange outfit with weird looking shoes on, with a whatever protector he has on his forehead. He's like, stand down, we do not know who this is. Can anyone explain the situation? What happened here? As some of the campers that were basically saw it just tell Chiron that he just came out of a portal and he just plopped right there. no one knows who he is, as Chiron says, get him over to the med bay. Well, infirmary, basically. I just say med bay a lot, sorry. Anyways, so some campers basically were a little wary of him, but the ones who do come over, pick him up and take him over. As Chiron says, do not worry, I'll get to the bottom of this and I'll talk to Mr. D. As basically, they not. So, Chiron goes back over to the big house and he basically talks to Mr. D. Meanwhile, Naruto is knocked out. Well, Kurama's waking up. As Kurama was like, my head. It hurts so much. What the heck happened? As basically he gets the memories of what happened, and then he even gets the memories of what happened with the other Naruto, and then all of a sudden he looks over and sees the Shimigami. By the way, if you're wondering, how is Kurama still with Naruto? The other half had Kurama. The other Naruto had Kurama. Even though the other one, basically lost Kurama. That basically the one who was in the portal was not affected by that. So Kurama's still alive. Kurama's still there. Yay. I'm not getting rid of Kurama no matter what. This is my loophole, my work around the plot of Boruto. So anyways, as Kurama sees this Shimigami right there, waking up and groggy, he's like, what happened to me? As Kurama basically goes like, hey, first time? As basically Shimigami goes like, wait, that voice. Kurama? How are you? What's going on? He was like, well, somehow in some way, I died and yet I'm still here. He's like, yeah, I know. It's like, let's just say this. Portal basically might have sucked a version of us that was not affected by time and space, and we were able to, basically stay the same age and not go through any of the experience. And then, since I was still alive at the time, whenever Naruto happened, when he actually died or such, that part of him must have got sent over to wherever we were going through the portal, and, he basically, I'm actually just guessing here, I don't really know what's going on, as Naruto is just like, can you quit talking, Kurama? I'm trying to sleep. As Kurama just looking at Naruto and be like, really? I was dead for how long with you, and you just... And then all of a sudden Naruto wakes up and goes like, Kurama! He looks over as Naruto's getting, having tears in his eyes, as Kurama just chuckles like, come here, kid. As basically, Naruto just runs over and hugs Kurama's, snout, or nose area, basically. And he's like, I thought you died, but how are you... Wait, huh? He basically realized, I'm 12 years old. I have to go through puberty again. Wait, why do I have memories when I'm 16 and then Portal, then all of a sudden I have memories afterwards? What's going on? Which, then he sees the other person that's next to Kurama. He's like, the Shimigami. Am I dead? Wait, I did die. But how am I alive? What's going on? I'm so confused. As well, Shimigami was like, you and me both, Naruto Uzumaki. Me and you both. But again, you denied death. How? No human has been this lucky. How is this even possible? It's like, I don't know. I don't know what's even going on here. So Kurama, can you tell me what you think happens? So basically, Kurama just explained what he was saying to the Shimigami beforehand. It's like, oh, so It's kind of like a video game then. He's like, huh? Yeah, it's like with Bruto's video games. Basically, it's like we had a version of ourselves that was saved, and then basically when we died, instead of, respawning in our last save point, my soul gets respawned into my copy of my body with all my memories, experiences, and probably my techniques. In which Kurama and the Shinigami just blink, and then Kurama says, "What have you done with Naruto?" He's like, "Huh? What have you done with my Naruto? He's never been this smart." He's like, I got smarter when I got older." He's like, "Oh, true. Sorry, I forgot. Because of your 12-year-old form." It's like, yeah. How does this even happen? What's even going on here? I mean, kind of makes sense how you explain what I said, but still. Which, Crowder, like, first off, you need to wake up, and then find out what's going on. It doesn't feel like we're in Konoha anymore, or any of the elemental nations. It's like, really? He's like, yeah. These are basically use Sage mode. Well, you're like, I'll try. I don't think I'll be able to, but we'll see. As Naruto basically gets in position and, meditation state, and he does activate Sage mode, but it does take a while, as basically, yeah, he does not feel no one with chakra. He feels other people's energy sources, but they're not chakra based. He's like, huh? So he deactivates it. He goes like, well, that's weird. Which basically, Kurama nods, but the Shinigami is like, well, we ain't not gonna figure this out, Naruto. You better wake up. He's like, wait, first off, since you're sealed in me, again, sorry. Which he goes like, okay, first off, it wasn't even your fault. So, I mean, I can't really be mad at you if I even wanted to. And two, yeah, I am trapped in here. It's like, and let me guess, you want to know what I can do? He's like, yeah. It's like, well, you can eat, basically, I'm the Shinigami, and, well, because of the Reaper Death Seal, I eat the souls of my, casters, so you can do that too. By the way, each Shinigami is a different Shinigami that was summoned. We all look the same, though. That must be very confusing if you have to do paperwork. It's like, it is. We have to wear name tags. It's like, well, that sucks. It's like, yeah. Anyways. You get a few enhancements, and you get to see souls here and there sometimes. And, oh yeah, any type of soul that you eat, you technically can gain some enhancements from them. Slight strength, strength increase maybe, depending on the soul. If they're big and muscular, you get just like a 1% buff increase. It's only for a limited time. It's like after you eat the soul, basically. So he goes like, so it's just immediate, and it only has like a limited time. He goes, yep, 5 minutes. That's all. It's like, well, that's at least something. Anything else I need to know about your powers? He was like, oh yeah, you get to summon weapons. Basically, they're not going to be very useful, per se, but you get to basically cut through a soul and, rip it out of someone's body. Basically, it's anything to do with death. So, he just puts the thumbs up, and he goes like, well, let's find out where we are, and hope for the best. Which, they both nod, and Naruto fades. Basically, Kurama says, how much you want to bet that we're gone into a predicament that we can't go back? Which Shinigami just says, you two aren't even supposed to be alive. So it's better off you stay here then. Which Kurama thinks about it, he's like, true. So, when Naruto was waking up, he was like, he basically feels the pain in his body. He's like, ow, okay, that. It basically, it's moving up slowly. He hears every bone is like cracking or popping. And he's like, hurts a lot. As, well, he feels Kurama's chakra is kicking in and healing him. He mentally thanks Kurama. And then he hears the sound of hoops, coming in. And, well, he basically sees a half man, half horse. And he's like, what? He's like, oh, hello there. And it's basically, he sees the half man, half horse talking to him. He's like, hi. Can you tell me who you are, where I am, and where's the nearest place to the Elemental Nations? In which he basically says, oh, my name is Kyron, and where you are is Lyland, New York. And Elemental Nations? I never heard of that, young man. Which Naruto was like, huh. Wait, you never heard of it? And what's Long Island, New York? And, thank you, Sir Kyron. Or, Sir. Which he just says, Kyron's fine, young man. It's like, young, yeah. Can you tell me exactly where I am? Not Long Island, New York, just, what is this place? He's like, oh, this is Camp Half-Blood. Camp Half-Blood. What is this specifically? He's like, oh, demigods, safe haven, home to be trained, to become next generation of heroes, and, well, basically fight off monsters and such. And that's the quick rundown version, young man. There's a lot more that you need. He's like, oh, yeah, my name is Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki. Sorry for not telling you. It's like, oh, well then, Naruto. It's a pleasure to meet you. So, can you tell me what happened to you? He's like, which he hears, Kurama and the Shinigami. Well, he hears Kurama first. He's like, Naruto, just tell me the truth. We don't know where we are. We don't even know what happened. And besides, you and me are dead and basically back in our, I guess, other home. So, what's the point of even hiding who you are? Which Naruto goes, yeah. And basically, the Shinigami just says, okay, I may have a theory, but I have to settle you later. So just tell him the absolute truth. He's like, okay, Shinigami. In which, well, Naruto just says, would you even believe me if I even told you? Which, basically, Chiron just looks at him and goes like, please, tell me. I heard all the tales before. Which he's like, okay. So he basically just tells him who he is, where he's from, what he does, and tell him what happened to him. And which Kyron is just looking at him in disbelief. He's like, I would need some, as then also Naruto just does no hand signs, multi-shackle and jutsu. There's like 10 Narutos right there. He was like, yep, I'm a ninja. And I don't know how the heck I'm 12 years old again. And so, Kyron's just looking at Naruto and they're like, come with me. Maybe, Mr. D will help you. Can help you out. And he was like, Mr. D was like, oh, I'll tell you later. Just come with me real quick, Naruto. Oh, by the way, your things are at the edge of the bed. Which Naruto looks and he sees his, basically, jacket is, up there with his forehead protector and, ninja bag. His bag and holsters, basically, for his kunais. No, he didn't have, and whatever. He just found his bag, basically. So Naruto basically grabbed his dragon and put that on, and then basically puts on his, ninja sandals, and then basically falls Chiron out. He's like, so, this, Camp Half-Blood really trains demigods, huh? It's like, yes. And the way you said it, you seem to be one yourself. He was like, nah, I mean, uh, Grandpa Gigi really doesn't really tell you that much. I mean, he says of the reincarnation of his son, Ashura, and, I mean, I technically could probably use that power, so, So I guess I really am a demigod, in a way. Which Triton just nods. He's like, but that portal you came from, Mr. D probably could sense it. So he probably could give us a good explanation if he ever knows about it. Which, well, Naruto nods. So, as Naruto basically, follows Chiron to the big house, some people are staring at Naruto. Some girls are basically staring at Naruto, blushing, looking at him, giggling. Basically, Naruto even overhears someone talk about his whiskers, and he's like thinking to himself, "Oh great, don't tell me I'm gonna get a fan club. I had that before. It was not fun." As basically Kurama just snickers at that. Now, when they get to the big house and they enter, Kyron basically says, "Mr. D, the young man is awake." Which Mr. D looks from his wine magazine. He's like, "Ah, he is." "Hello there, kid. Welcome to Camp Half-Blood. Now, who the heck are you?" He's like, I'm Naruto Uzumaki, and your probably name is not Mr. D." Oh, he was like, "Yeah, it's Dionys. I think that's it, right?" Which Naruto was like, alright then, sir, Mr. Dionys." It's like, which he just looked at Naruto's like, "Do you know who I am?" He was like, "No." Which, before Dionys can say more, I think Mr. D, I'm just gonna double check that now, actually. Alright, so I was right. Which, basically, like I was saying, Kyron interrupts him before saying anything. He's like, not Kyron, Dionys. He does not know of us. Well, anything of Greek mythology. Which, basically Dionys says, so, not many of these brats know anything, which kind of goes like, no, he does not know anything. "Naruto, please explain what you have told me." So Naruto tells him, everything about his world a little bit, and who he is, what he does, and what he has done, and what he did. And then even about Kurama, which Dionys is just looking at him and be like, okay. I'm the god of wine and insanity. But that has to be the most craziest BS thing I have ever heard, kid. You have to be some type of god's child, just even, as then he basically just says, Shadow Clone Jutsu, no hand signs, and 20 clones appear. He's like, "I told you, chakra is real and such, and I can do clones." Which he's like, okay. Maybe you're telling the truth. But then, how the heck did you, as, for some weird reason, something appears over Naruto's head? We going to say a galaxy appears above Naruto, which that literally stops Dionys and shocks, Kyron out of their minds. As Kyron goes like, how is that possible? As Dionys is like, stand up, his seat falls down, and he, trips over it when he's about to stumble backwards. Basically, Klung, catches Dionys, and he's like, "Whoa there, you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, but how the..." As Naruto's like, "Huh?" As basically his clones look, even Naruto, but he's like confused. As then all of a sudden they hear a voice, as suddenly, what, in this case, a woman will appear. Basically, And she just waving, hello, it's good to see you. Well, to be honest, Kyron, or Chiron, eh, I think it's Kyron. That's how I've been saying it for a while, so. Which, basically, they both bow immediately, which Naruto's like, huh? Who are you? He's like, oh, allow me to introduce myself, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Which Naruto gets immediately on guard with a kunai out. He's like, oh, please, you don't need that. As she just has her hand, basically wave her hand to the side as the kunai just turns into a balloon. Which Naruto's like, huh? It's like, well, you're in my realm. I mean, you're not really affected by me much, but certain things I can do, like change your kunai into, well, that. It's a balloon, by the way. Which Naruto's like, I see that, but how did you? Like, well, I am Chaos, a primordial being that created what you see today. Which Naruto's like, okay. But what's this? And he goes like, oh, that means I claimed you. In which Naruto's like, huh? Well, you see, I don't really have a true form. So what you're seeing now is just kind of just a mix and match of what I saw from, well, of the people that you knew, and I just mashed it all together. I'll even take the form of a male. Basically, I have no really gender since I am everything, and basically, it's kind of like everything and nothing at once. And he's like, okay, that's just really confusing. It's like, read Greek mythology, you'll understand. Which Naruto's like, Greek what? Which, basically, Chaos looks at Kyron. Well, basically he's like, Kyron, you would teach Naruto everything in Greek mythology, and you'll allow him to travel the world. And do not worry, he'll be perfectly fine on his own. He is basically the, 7th Hokage of Konoha, a mighty warrior, the person who brought peace to the world, and who defeated a god. Which basically that just shocks both Kyron and Meister D, aka Dionys. Which Naruto goes like, correction, I defeated a god by sealing her and making a moon, with the help of my friend. Which Chaos goes like, yes, of course. Now, Naruto, I accidentally brought you here, and technically, as what your friend that's inside of you, and, well, the Shinigami, surprisingly enough, that you actually, well, have that now, powers of death. Lucky you, a person who denied fate multiple times, which, that kind of shocks both of them again. But then, basically, Chaos just goes on and goes like, oh, what was again that? Oh, yes. You basically will not be able to go back. You technically died there. And as your friend said, you technically were saved, as you basically, quote-unquote, from a video game. And you never saved again. My apologies, but at least you get to live in another life. Fulfilled your prophecy, your fate, your destiny of saving the world. And dying to protect what you loved. But you even get your best friend back. Isn't that right, Kurama? In which, basically, a chakra form of head of, golden chakra comes out. Basically, it's Kurama. It's like, oi, don't use my name. And basically, it just goes back into Naruto, which again, for a third time, both the basically Kyron and Dionys are shot. Now, Chaos is going like, well, I'll be watching over you. And, well, actually, just so you know, you two are not allowed to tell Zeus. I mean, he can't really do anything. But, if you guys tell that paranoia god, and he even tries to harm Naruto, well, you know what will happen. And before you even ask, how is this even possible since I never had kids, when the portal I sneezed into existence, tear through time and space and dimension, and Naruto absorbed the energy that was from it, basically giving him powers of chaos. In a sense, he is a god amongst humans. Technically immortal, since technically he has death sealed inside of him, which is not Hades. Which, well, actually, technically a being from another dimension that is death, but there's multiple versions. It's called a Shimigami. Look up Japanese lore, in which both of them just nod. He's like, well then, Naruto, if you need any questions, just call my name. I'll come to you in a male form or female form. Again, female form is just a whole bunch of people that you met that, that were close to you, just all wrapped up into one form, which you see now, and the male form is exactly the same. Goodbye, as basically Chaos just leaves. In which, when Chaos gets back into it, basically consciousness gets back to where it was, which is like, okay, so at least I'm doing that for the kid, and I actually helped him out there. Okay, so now I have to figure out what he has and what I need to teach him, or at least give him some help with, and make sure, he gets the proper equipment. Oh my god, I'm becoming an overprotective parent now. I don't even know what the heck I'm doing. I just see that happening, okay? I'm sorry, that's not how, you guys would think, but still. First time being a parent. I'm not a parent yet, but I have a feeling that's how I'm gonna act. So, anyways. So, Naruto's like, can we get started on that Greek mythology then? Which Kyron and Dionysus get up, and they basically say, excuse us for a moment. As basically they say, both at exactly the same time, I swear on the sticks I will not tell Zeus about Naruto Uzumaki being the son of Chaos. As, there's a lightning bolt in the distance, basically claiming it as it's, honored or made. Now, though, as Naruto's like, what was that about? As basically, Kyron just says, do not worry about it. We'll teach you everything we know. So, come on, Naruto. Time to teach you about Greek mythology. By the way, can you tell me about those shadow clones? Which basically just, alright, basically all the clones disappear, and he's like, okay, so here's the thing about the clones. Each clone I make basically can, as it basically just talk about the experience he gains and such, and blah 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 blah. Which, well, we're gonna do a little bit of a time skip. After I take a drink, I will come right back though. Okay, I'm back. So anyways, like I was saying, time skip. So basically, this is 1 year before Percy Jackson, the Lightning thing actually happens. Now, what happens is, Naruto basically was reading Greek mythology on his own with the help of his shadow clones to learn about the rest of the world. And he has learned about vehicles and the history of the world and such, and what has actually happened, in which he has been amazed. And that took about maybe 2 months. Not maybe actually 3.5. To learn everything that happened does take a while. And, well, Dionysus has talked about the gods and such in each one of them. As, when basically Naruto does get interested, he basically even learns about technically the monsters and what can kill them. Naruto does say, does ask about, wait, could technically you snap their necks or something and they die? In which they do nod. And he was like, well, it's a good thing I basically can summon out any sword from the Shimigami's powers. Which basically Diana says, yeah, I looked into that. What can you do with the Shimigami? So he just tells them what the Shimigami told them. And they're like, so wait, you can eat the souls of anyone and gain some ability for 5 minutes? He's like, yeah. I think that's only humans. I don't know about monsters, though. Maybe monsters has somewhat of a permanent boost? I don't know. Which, they both just saying, yeah, let's not test it out just yet. So, They do, help Naruto at least get some new weapons with actual, bronze slash CS, and basically the metal that would actually help them to kill monsters and such, and not humans. So, though, Chaos has watched Naruto's progress, and it is basically, it's been 3.5 months, so it does basically, he says she's, well, Chaos basically just thinks Naruto should go out in the world and see it. Now, what happens is very simple. Chaos just comes over to Dionys in male form and be like, "Hey, Dionys, can you send out my kid?" Which basically is like, "Yeah, Chaos, I will. Don't worry. I mean, we're just trying to make sure he has everything he needs before he sets out. And besides, uh, some things are happening that I mean, even he needs to get away from." It's like, yeah, a lot of people are asking questions that he's not ready to answer. He's like, "Yep," and it's hard for him to train with all these people watching him. So, can't let his skills get rusty. He's like, "Yep. I just want to make sure. I'll see you around then." Also, as basically all of a sudden Coke cans appear, and he's like, basically Dionysus is like, thanks? It's like, "Don't worry. Just open up one and we'll taste it." It's basically when Chaos disappears, and Dionysus does, open one of the Coke cans, and drinks it. He's like, eyes widen, and a tear rolls down his face, and then he just, drinks more of it very quickly. So, he finally says, "Finally, a loophole around my dad's rule. Yes!" So yeah, anyways. Now, after that, Naruto is actually at the edge of the barrier. He did learn about it and such. He basically learned, well, the world and such, like I said. Now, though, he's gonna go out in the world and explore all of the USA. Which, Naruto says, "How long do you think it's gonna take?" Which, Karna says, "Well, for your ninja abilities, it probably won't take you that much, but keep them on the down low. Alright?" He was like, "Yeah. What about you, Mr. D?" He's like, "Stay out of trouble. If you see monsters, kill them. And if you gain, good, materials from them, save them when you come back. We'll have someone from the Hephaestus cabin to basically make you some new weapons with it." He's like, "Thanks." And, okay. Well, I'll be seeing you guys around. It's only been 3 months, and this place already became home. Well, I mean, I've been sleeping in the big house for a while, but, which Chiron does not. And then he basically says, "Well, by the time you get back, we'll have a cabin already waiting for you, Naruto. I mean, you technically have become a god, so essentially you are immortal." He's like, "Yeah. Just imagine those three being very surprised to even hear about me." Which he does not. And he basically honest goes like, "Well, have fun figuring out about your powers too, being a child of chaos." It's like, "Thanks. Anyways, catch you around." As Naruto start walking off, basically when Naruto's out of basically ear hearing range, he's like, "So, how much you want to bet he's gonna cause a lot of trouble?" Which, Dionysus is like, "Well, with his name, it means fish. With his name, it means fish cake or maelstrom. So, a lot." "You think we'll hear about it on the news?" Chiron says. He's like, "Who knows? If we do, then it'll be an interesting event to see what happens with the old man." Which Chiron just chuckles. So after that, basically they walk back into Camp Half-Blood and throughout their time. Now, a time skip. Not much time has passed. Basically about 2 months, maybe. Naruto has been in New York City. He went to the library first, and he learned everything he could from it. At night, basically. And, well, afterwards he just explored. He went to a different, area. A different, state, basically. And he explored it. And let's just say this. he basically doesn't, use the, Ninetales cloak, or the cloak at all. He just walks around like a normal human until he's out of, like, distance, like in the woods, and basically a bright streak of light is always seen in the woods at night. So, yeah, Bo. But he's in just, like, a different town, and he's just walking around. He basically is just thinking it's a nice, quiet town, and, something happens at night, though. When he's just sleeping out in a tree because he has no place and no money, hears the sound of a, weird animal, a growl, as when he looks, he sees, this creature with cracks in it and glowing. It looks like a dog, he thinks. But then he basically read up on, he remembers on his Greek mythology on what basically a hellhound is. And he's like, well, my first monster encounter. Alright. Let's see what I can do. So Naruto basically jumps down, and the hellhound doesn't notice him, so he just takes maybe 5 steps, and then the hound looks at him. He's like, well then, hello there, Mr. Hellhound. My name is Naruto. It's a pleasure to meet you. Now, I'm not too good with fighting monsters, as if the hellhound just lunges at Naruto, he dodges. He's like, well, not the talking type, huh? As basically he takes out a kunai and shurikens. These are technically the only weapon he has. That basically has made out of the celestial bronze, I believe that's how it's called now. So, he throws the kunais. The hellhound dodges, but when he throws, not the kunai, the shuriken. But basically, Naruto appears in, speed that the hellhound did not see. Because he used chakra, his body's not at the physical capability to handle, his true speed. But with the Ninetales, golden cloak, that's kind of a little bit debatable. His body is hurting, but he's also healing, so it kind of helps, but also damages chakra coils, so yeah. But anyways, he basically says, too slow, as he basically stabs the hellhound in the head, as then there's just 2 sharp things there. And he was like, well, spoils of war, I guess. And after that, he leaves the town. Now, basically, we have 4 months have passed. Naruto has killed just maybe 2 more monsters. A harpy and not a manticore. Hold up. Actually, no. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Basically, he also has killed a Cyclops. It was on the smaller side. Not a kid. It was just a smaller Cyclops. Basically, a lesser god shrunk it. He was just easily killed with a fireball jutsu. No, not a fireball jutsu, a lightning jutsu. So, after that, Naruto was starting to realize he's a little bit more faster than normal. He's even a little bit more stronger. And sometimes when he just wants something to happen, it happens. If he wants it to rain, it'll rain. If he wants it to be a nice breeze with, partly cloudy suns, it'll basically be that. Heck, he even somehow summoned out a freaking hot dog from his pocket. He's like, huh? What the? So, this is when technically chaos appears while Naruto is, on top of a building in LA, Los Angeles. And basically he's like, well, hey there, Naruto. He goes, oh, hey, Chaos. So, should I just call you Mom, Dad, or just Parent? Which Chaos is just chuckling, is nervously, to be honest, I don't know what you should even call me. Just call me Chaos from now on. Which he goes okay. So, can you explain something to me? He's like, sure, I'll try my best. So, Naruto basically tells Chaos what, he does and it happens. He's like, oh, yeah. Basically, that's one of the powers I have. Anything you want to happen, with just a wave or a thought, it'll happen. Heck, technically that's anything you want. If you want survivability and different powers, you can get. But she's like, isn't that cheating? He's like, you're a primordial being. Of course it is. Well, technically not really. It just happens. You can't control it. It's like, so I will get powers if I don't want it, no matter what. He's like, yep. I mean, I think you already got quite a few of them. He's like, huh? I mean, your cooking ability is pretty good. I mean, you did technically cook something you didn't even know how to make. He goes like, which was soup. It's like, I know how to cook soup. He's like, really? I always saw you eating ramen, nothing else. Which is like, and then he goes like, and seems like your survivability has increased. Which is like, well, which, no, basically Cass just grin at Naruto, be like, well, don't worry. Just know you're gonna get a lot more abilities, and don't be shocked by it. Let me just check something real quick, guys. Alright, so basically, after that, Chaos does get up, and she's like this. Well, Naruto, like I said, if you need anything, don't hesitate to call. In which Naruto just like, just asks because of past memories, bring up. He's like, hey, Chaos, if something happened to me, would you try to find me? Or save me? In which Chaos basically was stopped in, their tracks, and she basically take a glance towards Naruto. And, well, Chaos smiles and be like, of course. I mean, I can't die. I'm immortal. And not because of that, though. You're my very first child. So, why not? Besides, you've been quite interesting lately. He's like, even if I was not interesting, will you still? He was like, yes, I would. Just like your original parents would. As basically, Chaos just leaves. I don't know if basically Chaos ever had kids in Greek mythology, but, it created technically the whole entire, lore of the, basically what it says from what I read. Created the universe and, Greek world and such, so, kind of technically, But I'd just say Chaos is just first child is Naruto actually being, their child. So, yeah. But back to what I was doing. So basically that brings a smile on Naruto's face as Naruto jumps down. And he lands in a alleyway and he walks out of it. Now, he's walking by with a smile on his face. He has technically he starts to remember that I had to be in a henge or some cops are going to pull me over, ask one of my parents, or should I be in school? I can always outrun them. Doesn't matter. So, as you see, Naruto's walking by. And for some weird reason, basically, he sees this woman, about to walk past him. He knows, every single guy is looking at her with a blush on their face. And then he just, shrugs it off like it's nothing. It's like, not my problem. And, I mean, she is gorgeous, but not my type. I think. Probably is, but I'm 12 years old now. So, he just walks by without even caring. And, well, after I died, I'm making this one maybe a little bit more powerful. Basically, she saw men's basically, love life and, who they could be in love with and such. What can they be paired up with. But when she walked past Naruto, she didn't see nothing. I mean, she didn't see nothing by that. I mean, she didn't see anything at all. It was she did not see nothing. No love life, person he could be paired with and potential being pairs with. It's just nothingness is there. And that kind of shocks her. So, when she basically, stops and takes back a glance at Naruto with his retreating back, she basically, uses some of her godly power to see his, basically, love. And she sees, a whole bunch of love for someone else, but has no one to love, him. which surprises her. But she does see there was someone to love, but the pain he hasn't realized it, but he's also been kind of ignoring it. Because he's in a new world, you can't really blame him. But yeah, and this kind of intrigues, Aphrodite. So, she basically will watch Naruto. Now, Naruto does talk to Kurama the Shimigami. The Shimigami just asks Naruto how is he taking, not being able to see his old wife. And he doesn't say nothing for a bit, and he says afterwards, he goes, it hurts. It hurts a lot. The very first person to ever believe in me besides the old man and Tichi and Ayame, a girl who actually was in love with me for the longest time I didn't even notice. I can't see anymore. It hurts more than I can put into words. But I can't really complain right now since I'm in a world I don't really know much, and I'm learning so much just by traveling. Heck, even learning by fighting these monsters. So, yeah. I really can't cry over it now, Shimigami. You could probably do that later, but right now, I just have to keep moving forward. And which Shimigami was like, well, it's kind of mean and hard for you, kid, but it's understandable. Yeah, so basically, whatever Daioji is just doing is kind of trying to find the kid's love life. And there was only one girl from his past that ever truly loved this guy, and that was it. And basically, he knows love, but at the same time, not knowing it. It's because he's in his 12-year-old, form again, so it's like, it's there. It's like, there's only a linger of, feelings there. No actual feelings, so. Anyways. Which Aphrodite is, puzzled, and for some reason, someone not knowing how love truly is hurts her and makes her a little bit upset. So she's gonna try to find who is this kid and what has ever happened to him. So yeah, she doesn't understand why. Now though, after that little instance, Naruto has taken a little bit more monsters on. I want to say he has gotten some pelts. I'm actually going to look up them real quick. Okay, so he went against a basilisk and a griffin. So, and maybe a gorgon, and that was it. Now though, we do technically have about only 4 months. Wait. 5 months, basically. Nearing the 1 year that he basically has taken. So he went back to New York. He's learned everything that he could from libraries and being about getting some research on some monsters, basically, that he did not know, but researched on. So yeah. So he's basically in New York. He's just passing by the museum. Sorry, was about to take, hiccup. Anyways, he's walking past the museum that, Percy and his class that was, about watching. As he's just walking past them, walking past a red hair, freckle girl, that looking like she's basically trying to steal out of someone's, purse. He just sighs and be like, amateur. So, when he's just walking by and he decides to lean against a wall. By the way, he does have Tsunade's necklace. It's just he put it in his pocket because of people might want it. He does then hear someone make a splash and he looks over. And what he hears people saying about someone basically she was pulled in. It looks like the water did it. As well, what happens is before he basically suspects something's gonna happen. And, well, since, she basically was stealing, he's gonna, he decides to play a prank on her. And it'll also get her in trouble. So before she even says, she even, gets the full name out, then everyone just hear, "Oi! You! Girls in the fountain! You stole something from me!" As everyone is shocked by this. As basically, this girl named Nancy is like, no, I didn't steal nothing from you. Basically, it's like, really? I saw you trying to steal someone's, basically, money from their purse. As in this woman, basically coming up to him and was like, "What do you mean, because Naruto walked over and, saying this to her, basically this woman, basically is like, "Who are you?" She goes, "My name is Mrs. Dodds, and you always like, it doesn't matter who I am." What she did is steal something from me. It was in my pocket, and now it's not there no more. And the only one who I saw who would basically try to steal someone out of someone's, pocket or purse was you. And I knew I walked past you. It was in my right pocket. In actuality, it was in his left, but he's just, but he has it in his hand right now. And he's like, I don't have it. I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, really? Well then, you mind if I look in, in one of your pockets? I'm saying she's wearing a jacket. It didn't really specifically say. So, it's just like a jacket she's wearing with pockets. As he basically, looking through it. And he does suddenly, he does sneak real quick before no one can even see it. Well, basically, someone with brown hair, long, curly, in a wheelchair, basically having a red umbrella, looking at this, paperback novel is watching with amusement. And so after he basically looks in the pockets in each minute, and basically 1 minute each, he basically pulls out the necklace. He's like, "See? I knew you took this from me." She's like, I didn't take it from you. And he's like, "Oh, really? So, and you just fallen into basically this fountain, basically it's also just not you doing nothing, huh?" She's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, I heard someone named P.E.R., so who is the name that starts with P.E.R.? As in the boy with brown hair and greenish bluish eyes raised their hand. He's like, "What's your name?" He's like, "Percy." He's like, "Well then, Percy. Seems like she was about to blame you for something that you didn't even do. Now, isn't that ironic? A thief and a liar. Two people I hate." Which basically Mrs. Dawes saying, "Don't you dare say about that." He's like, "Oh, favoritism. Great. Real great. Teachers like you are just the worst. Hey, Percy, sorry about having a teacher like this. Really am. Anyways, don't steal from anyone else, kid. You never know what can happen to you. You could lose an eye, or finger. See ya." As they were just walking away, as then Mrs. Dodds has no choice but to reprimand, hold up. I think I did get her name right. Nancy? Let me just double check from the book. Okay, so basically, yeah, as basically Nancy's getting reprimanded by Mrs. Dodds, as she's looking at Naruto's direction, giving him a dirty glare. As basically she sees Naruto looking back at her, and then he just sticks his tongue at her, and her eyes widen. As basically even Percy and Grover saw this, and their eyes widen. As basically she realized he fooled her. He pranked her, and he got me in trouble. Whoever he is, I hate him. I hate him with a passion. As basically, as someone, as I basically in the wheelchair with the, it's 3 something right now, so you have to give me a minute. Yeah, it's basically Kyron, who was just watching this. He's like, "Well played, Naruto. Well played. I'll see you at camp sometime soon." So yeah. So, after that, Percy does get talked to, though, just to ask, basically I want to ask you questions what happened. Mrs. Dodds, and yeah, that happens. So, everything would technically go the same for Percy and canon. Naruto has, well, basically has shadow clones, you know, lasts like basically multiple months. Each month he basically had like a set of clones. And basically he even trains with some clones at night to do his taijutsu training. So, and chakra control and such and everything. So basically, he dispels them 10 by each and then he goes to sleep. This goes on for quite a bit until it's the time for him to return to Camp Half-Blood. Now, on his way, to returning, he's basically running through the storm. So, meanwhile, Percy's life is turned upside down, and basically with the Minotaur. So, everything goes from there. From canon, Naruto is basically arriving to Camp Half-Blood, but he hears basically yelling and the sound of a monster. So he runs over to it really quickly, as then he basically sees a woman being held by the Minotaur, as basically she tells someone to go, and basically she gets turned to light and disappears. His eyes wide, and he goes like, "I was too late, crap." As then he hears, someone saying no, and he looks over, it's Percy. Now, what happens is simple. Percy would do exactly the same thing he does with the red jacket, and when the Minotaur is about, running towards him, he's about to basically jump onto the Minotaur's head until someone just appears out of nowhere, grabbing both of the horns of the Minotaur. And he's like, "Okay, big guy, no attacking the kid." As then he just lifts up the Minotaur and slams him down to the ground. As Percy goes like, "Wait, who are you?" He was like, "I'm a friend." But she goes like, "Wait, that voice." He was like, "No talk now." Like, basically all of a sudden, like 3 clones appear without even speaking, which he's like, "Huh?" So each clone goes to the side. One has a Rasengan, the other one has a Chidori. As basically both of them run to the side of the Minotaur when it's again up. And basically one says, "Rasengan!" The other one says, "Chidori!" As, well, they both hit the, Minotaur. As the Minotaur screaming out of pain and such, and it's not dead yet, Naruto's basically going over to it. As it's getting up very slowly, he goes like, "Come on. That's all you got? I thought you were stronger than this." As the Minotaur looks at him in rage and tries to swipe him, as Naruto ducks him and basically punches his arm to the side, but then throws a kick. It, basically goes into the wound, the Chidori, which it screams out more in pain. And, well, let's just say this. Taijutsu-wise, the Minotaur's just throwing fists without even caring. It tried to, even grab onto Naruto while he's dodging and, basically throwing his fists in key areas that would kill someone. So, after that happens, the Minotaur finally is going down. As, well, he only knows something will happen due to, well, basically Hades or such. But Naruto doesn't know that for sure. He was like, "Well, tell whoever sends you that if you're after the kid, it ain't gonna happen." As he basically just, snaps the Minotaur's neck and breaks both of the horns off. And basically just stabs it into the head just for, good measure. As the Minotaur just turns into golden sand, and, yeah. And then Percy, getting up, walking towards Grover, and, well, how should I say this? Everything would go from canon from there, basically. Percy getting up, getting Grover, walking over to the camp, but then, he's basically about to collapse, but Naruto gets him. As then he basically sees, basically Percy sees somebody, basically hears the sound of, like, galloping over, and then basically he sees a girl with golden blonde hair with curls, and he thinks, she's beautiful and such, or pretty, basically, as he just goes unconscious, passing out before anything. Which then she's like, "Wait, she goes, "Who are you?" Basically, as Naruto's wearing a hood and such. He takes off the hood, She sees the spiky blonde hair and the whisker marks. He goes, "Oh, hey, I didn't met you. Wait, Annabeth?" She's like, "Naruto? It's been a while." She goes, "Yeah, funny meeting you here. Anyways, Kyron, want you want to help me out here?" As he basically pointed out to Percy, and he basically just looks at Naruto and just chuckles. He's like, you always, you always are in any sort of trouble, aren't you, Naruto?" Which he just shrugs. And that's where I'm gonna leave it off. Tell me guys if you like this. Um, try to keep this series going throughout the books. So, what's only up to a certain book. I don't know how many they are, but anyways. Have a nice day and night wherever you are, and bye everyone.